Welcome to our 9th C++ tutorial, and if you're anything like me, you're lying awake at night wondering why we haven't put anything inside those brackets near our functions. What's the point of even having them if we're not going to use them? Today we're going to use them, don't worry. We're going to be putting parameters inside of them. So let's go ahead and set up here. We're going to do the usual. We're going to go ahead and we're going to write our preprocessor command. We're going to define our namespace. I know this gets old doing it each time, but I think it's important just to make sure you guys don't mess up and you know to do this because we're going to be doing it so often. You're going to make your main function, and you're going to have your return value. So everything like that is simple. We've done this, this is the 9th time we've done it. We don't need to look at it again. Now, what happens after this? Now, what do we want to do? Well, we saw in the last video, we saw that we were making more functions, and we're able to make those functions after the main as long as we prototype. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to make a function down here. Now, we are just going to be printing something on screen with this function. So like I said, you do not need to waste memory by calling it an integer. We can go ahead and call it a void. So we're going to call this the age function. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to try to figure out how old I am. You see at the bottom of the screen how old I am, but see how we make that function that's going to show that. Now, we have void age. You have your two open and closed brackets. We're going to put something in there in a second. Don't worry. Now we can fill out something inside of the body of the age function. So we're going to make an output. So you're going to have cout. Now you're going to have some little text. So I'm going to write I am, then you can close it off. And I'm putting a space between am and the quotation mark because I am going to make sure that I leave some space because I'm going to have the parameter x here, which is going to represent my age. There, I don't want everything to be squished together. I mean, I know we're the only ones looking at this program, but we're not barbarians here. We want everything to be neat. We're civilized. And then I'm going to put the same thing here, years old, because everything inside the quotation marks appears as is, including the spaces. So you want to leave a bit of spaces. Your program's not going to do it for you. So here we says, I am X years old. Now x, we don't know what it is right now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to write inside this, we're going to write x as an integer. For the most part, when you're talking about age, you're going to say a whole number, right? You're going to say you're 15 years old. You're not going to say you're 15.2. You're going to say you're 20 years old. You're not going to say you're 20.5. Unless you're one of those little kids who are like 6 or 7 years old who insist on saying that they're 6 1/4 or 6 3/4. Shut up, little kids. Nobody cares about that. That was kind of mean, huh? I'm sorry, little 6 3/4-year-olds, if you're watching this video, shout out to you. Anyways, let's move on. So right there, now I say that the x is going to be an integer, and that's going to be our parameter. So we're going to go ahead and prototype this function because, as I mentioned last video, we need to make sure that our program reading top to bottom knows what's going on. It's going to read top to bottom now, and it's not going to be able to get to this function because it's already behind the main. So we need to prototype by writing the header, which is everything except for the body, everything except for what's in the curly braces up here, including your parameter. So we see up here, we are going to include the data type and we're going to include the parameter. So integer x, void, all up here with a semicolon at the end. Next, we're going to actually move inside of the main function as we saw last time, and we're not going to include the data type this time. So you're just going to write age, and you're going to leave it like that. Now, we need to obviously have something. We're missing something. What are we missing? We're missing the age. The program's not going to figure out. The program's not going to open up my wallet, pull up my driver's license, and see how old I am. The program needs to be told how old I am. So we're actually going to put that inside here. So I'm 20 years old, so I'm going to put a 20 inside the age, which is inside the main function. Now it's going to be passing this value of 20 through the age function here. It's going to be an integer, so it goes through here, and it's going to go down here, and we're going to see that this whole thing is going to print out I am 20 years old. So let's go ahead and build and run this program. And there we go. I am 20 years old. And this might seem a little bit of a long process, or might seem a little bit redundant, but it's going to make sense to you as we move along. It's important that you understand the concept right now, so make sure you understand that. And I'll be back with some more videos coming up. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And thank you very much for watching.